If you ever felt like you didn't fit in with your age or like you were born in the wrong time, you might be an old soul. This term refers to people who have the wisdom, patience and inner depth that are often associated with generations past. People with old minds often find modern ways of having fun confusing, and they often feel closer to traditional values and quiet activities. Today's video will look at what it means to be an old soul from the unique point of view of Stoic thought. We will talk about what makes old souls unique, the peace they find in solitude, and why their way of life is not only refreshing, but also deeply needed in our fast-paced world. If you feel wise beyond your years, or often long for the simplicity of times gone by, you might find some answers here. Don't forget to hit the like button if you like our trip through the rich landscapes of personality and thought. Sign up for more thought-provoking material, and let us know what you think in the comments below. Are you an old soul? Let's find out together. Number 1. Do you like staying at home a lot? Old souls find great joy in the comfort and quiet of their houses. They love being alone and taking the time to think and write. If you often seek refuge in your own home, you probably have the timeless knowledge of an old soul. Picture yourself curled up on the couch with a good book and a warm cup of tea. The peace and quiet of your home offer a refuge from the chaotic outside world, providing a space for contemplation and inner peace from a Stoic perspective. This inclination aligns perfectly with the principle of finding contentment within oneself. Stoics believe that true happiness comes from within, not from external circumstances. By enjoying your own company and the simple pleasures of home, you embody the Stoic ideal of self-sufficiency and inner tranquility. When you do venture out, your pursuits are often purposeful and enriching. You seek experiences that stimulate your mind and challenge your abilities. These pursuits don't always have to be intellectual. For instance, you might find the physical challenge of rock climbing intriguing, testing your strength and resilience, or perhaps you enjoy mastering new skills, seeing how quickly you can learn and excel. These activities not only engage your mind, but also offer a sense of accomplishment and growth. On the other hand, social activities that lack depth, like casual partying or dining out without meaningful conversation, often feel like a waste of time. You value your time immensely and prefer to invest it in activities that offer personal growth, intellectual stimulation, or emotional fulfillment. This choice is similar to the Stoic idea of valuing and wisely using our short time on earth. As an old soul, you know that life is short and that time is valuable, so you choose to spend it on things that really matter, like taking care of your mind, body and soul, like quiet moments. You want to live a life with meaning and depth, with the knowledge of both an old soul and a Stoic thinker. Number 2, you value independence. This doesn't mean you don't want to be a leader. It just means you don't feel a strong need to be one. Your mantra, which comes from Stoicism, is live and let live. This simple but profound idea guides your relationships and lets you accept other people's differences without judging them. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, once said that the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. Like him, you know that true happiness comes from within, not from the approval or validation of others. You know that everyone has their own unique journey, and you have yours. This knowledge helps you stay calm when other people criticize or judge you. Imagine walking through a busy city where everyone else is in a hurry to fit in with the latest trends and meet expectations. But you, the old soul, take your time and enjoy the beauty in the little things. A flower coming up through a crack in the sidewalk, a child laughing sitting on a park bench under a tree, and enjoying the peace and quiet, finding peace and meaning in the things that you like. People often don't understand why you don't follow the crowd, why you don't aim for the same goals, or why you don't care as much about social norms. But from a Stoic point of view, you know that as long as you're not hurting anyone, their opinion shouldn't affect your peace. You follow Epictetus's philosophy that it's not what happens to you that matters, but how you react to it. You choose to react with calmness and clarity, knowing that criticism often says more about the critic than about you. For example, if your friends or family ask you why you'd rather read a book in the evenings than go to a loud party, you smile and say that you find joy in the quiet moments. You passionately follow your own interests, whether it's a hobby, a career path, or a personal project. You don't mind going it alone, because you find strength and fulfillment in your independence. In some ways, your independence and desire to follow your own path aren't just traits, they're a way of life. They show your inner strength, your self-awareness, and your deep understanding of the Stoic principle that true freedom lies in the mastery of oneself. By living honestly and without apologizing, you inspire others to do the same, spreading peace and acceptance in a world that is often full of unnecessary conflict. Number 3. As a child, you opted for mature company growing up. You found yourself drawn to the company of an adults rather than your peers. This inclination is one of the most telling signs of an old soul. While other children were engrossed in games and playful adventures, you sought the wisdom and experience of those older than you. This isn't to say you didn't enjoy playing with other kids. You did. You shared their sense of adventure and imagination. But there was something deeply fulfilling about the conversations and activities you shared with adults. You loved sitting with your grandparents, listening to their stories of the past, or engaging in thoughtful discussions with your parents about the world. These interactions were more than just a pastime for you. They were a source of learning and growth. Adults treated you with a seriousness that your peers often did not, which satisfied your curiosity and thirst for knowledge. You cherished their stories, lessons, and the depth of their experiences in line with Stoic philosophy. You valued these mature interactions because they provided a perspective on life that was grounded and insightful. Stoicism teaches us to seek wisdom and embrace the virtues of having kindness and understanding. It was natural for you to follow these principles as a child. You found more joy in reading a book, having a thoughtful conversation, or sharing a quiet cup of tea than in the often chaotic and surface-level activities of your peers. For example, while other kids might have been excited about the newest cartoon, you were engrossed in the historical documentaries your parents watched. While your friends were eager to play outside, you were more interested in helping your grandmother in the garden and learning the names of different plants and how they grew. These were not just activities, they were lessons in patience, observation, and respect for the natural world, which are core Stoic teachings. It wasn't just a quirk of your personality that you liked mature company and activities as a child. It was a natural alignment with the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. You were drawn to the meaningful and the substantial, looking for the company of those who could give you a deep understanding of life. This early tendency toward maturity and wisdom set the foundation for your journey as an old soul navigating life with a perspective that many only come to appreciate much later. If you're an old soul, you have a special and deep connection to the wisdom of the ages. This often shows up as an innate sense of what works and what doesn't. This doesn't mean you think you always know best or are closed off to new ideas. As an old soul, you are deeply open to the experiences and points of view of others, and always willing to listen and learn. But on your journey, you've come to trust your own intuition, a quiet voice that often just knows the best thing to do. For example, you're in a tough spot at work, while your co-workers may rush to adopt the newest technology or follow the latest trend. You take a step back, think about what you want, and listen to your inner compass. This will usually lead you to an answer that works. Your decisions are based on deep-seated wisdom that has been honed over time. This isn't always easy to explain clearly, and it may even seem counterintuitive to those around you. Think about the Stoic principles that stress how important it is to live in harmony with nature and trust your rational mind. As an old soul, you follow these Stoic principles by paying attention to your inner reason, which often lines up with what nature or reality says is the most peaceful path. While other people might be crazy about the newest productivity apps, you might like the simplicity and tactile satisfaction of writing your to-do lists by hand. This tried-and-true method feels more in line with how you naturally handle tasks and organize your life. It's not that you don't like new technologies, it's just that you know what works for you and don't see any reason to change it. This ability to just know is also a key part of the Stoic way of life. Focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you can't. By trusting your intuition, you are effectively managing what you can control in your actions and decisions while accepting that the outcome, while often predictable to you, is not always within your grasp in relationships. 2. You have an old soul that shines through, and you understand how human connections work on a level that many people find hard to explain. When you meet someone new, you may know right away if they will be important in your life. You may not be able to explain this feeling, but your instincts are always right. You have a quiet wisdom that helps you know when to give someone your time and energy and when to step back. As an old soul, you live by an ancient, almost magical understanding of what works. You trust your gut, remember the good things that happen to you, and stay open to new ideas while staying true to the wisdom that has helped you along the way. With this deep-seated knowledge and a calm demeanor, you can handle life's challenges with grace and confidence, always listening to the still, small voice inside you that gives you reason number 5. Your advice is very mature. Being grown and being able to trust your gut often leads to giving remarkably. Not only does good advice surprise other people, it can sometimes surprise you too. It's like having an inner map that points you in the right direction, which is a trait that fits well with Stoic ideas. Think about the Stoic philosopher Seneca, who stressed the importance of calmness and reason in making decisions. If you want to be like Seneca, you show patience and take the time to listen deeply to those who come to you for advice. When a friend comes to you with a problem, you don't just offer surface-level solutions. You listen intently and take in not only their words, but also their emotions and unspoken concerns. This ability to read between the lines and sense the unspoken comes from your keen intuition, which is a sign of an old soul. Like the Stoic practice of accepting things we can't change, your intuition tells you things other people might not know. For example, you might sense a friend's unspoken anxiety or a co-worker's unspoken frustrations. By addressing these underlying issues with empathy and clarity, you give advice that hits home on a deeper level. People you work with and friends often ask, "How did you know?" or "That's exactly what I needed to hear." People naturally gravitate toward you because you seem honest and trustworthy. Your ability to stay calm and collected, even in tough situations, reassures them. This calm demeanor reminds them of Marcus Aurelius, another great Stoic philosopher who pushed for maintaining inner peace amidst chaos. When others see this trait in you, they feel safe and confident in sharing their deepest concerns. However, this maturity and foresight can sometimes be unsettling for others. They might find it hard to believe that someone can have such a deep understanding of their problems. But it's exactly this quality that makes you a beacon of wisdom in their lives. You offer a unique combination of emotional intelligence and useful advice. Imagine that a friend is having a hard time making a big decision in their life, like changing careers or dealing with a problem in their relationship. Others might offer quick fixes or common-sense advice, but you take a different approach. You help them figure out how they feel, think about what will happen if they do something, and make sure their choices are in line with their values. In the same way that a Stoic would think about how their deeds affect their character and honesty, giving adult advice is not just a quality, it's a habit that comes from the knowledge of many years. It shows that you have an old soul and follow the Stoic ideals of patience, deep attention and understanding without knowing. Please keep accepting this gift, because it not only makes the lives of those around you better, but it also helps you become the best version of yourself, if you're still here. Please take a moment to share. Leave your thoughts in the comments section below, or just type, "I'm an old soul." Your involvement shows that you understand our message. Sixth, you take time to think about your life as an old soul. You have wisdom that goes beyond your years, and you feel a sense of duty that many people your age may not fully understand yet. Others might wait for someone else to step up, but you've learned to depend on yourself. This self-reliance comes from a deep understanding of how unpredictable life is. You don't see it as unfair in and of itself. Instead, you focus on how you react to it. For example, when you're faced with a sudden challenge like losing your job or dealing with a difficult relationship, most people would look for someone to blame or expect someone else to solve the problem. But you, with your old soul and Stoic mindset, know that it's how you react that matters. You take a step back, think about what happened, and decide what the best thing to do. This is where your responsibility shines through. You don't run away from the challenge. Instead, you welcome it, knowing that it's a chance to learn and grow. When you reflect on your life, you don't just think about the past. You constantly evaluate your choices and actions. When you make a mistake, you don't dwell on it with regret. Instead, you figure out what went wrong and how you can avoid making the same mistake again. For example, if you had a fight with a friend, you wouldn't just blame them and move on. Instead, you'd think about your behavior, what caused the fight, and how you can communicate better next time. This way of thinking fits perfectly with the Stoic philosophy. Stoics believe that people should think about their daily actions, their feelings, and how they can improve themselves. If you follow this principle, you'll know that every experience, good or bad, is a lesson. When things don't go as planned, instead of complaining or feeling defeated, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? For example, imagine being stuck in traffic. While others might honk their horns and curse the situation, you take a deep breath and use the time to reflect. You think about your day, your goals, or even practice gratitude for the things going well in your life. This calm and thoughtful approach not only reduces your stress, but also helps you stay focused and balanced. You've learned that taking responsibility for your decision and actions is crucial. This responsibility is not a burden, but a path to growth. By thinking seriously about your life and learning from your experiences, you become better equipped to handle future challenges. For instance, if you once struggled with managing your time through reflection, you've developed strategies to improve your productivity and balance your responsibilities more effectively. Embracing this reflective practice makes you not only wiser, but also more resilient. You understand that life will always have its ups and downs, but it's your inner strength and wisdom that guide you through. You embody the Stoic virtue of self-discipline, knowing that your true power lies in how you handle yourself when things go wrong. As an old soul, you constantly think about your life and how you can learn and grow from each event. This practice not only makes your own life better, but it also encourages others to do the same. By taking responsibility and reflecting, you live a wise and meaningful life. Following the timeless principles of Stoicism, number 7, you understand the difference between being busy and being productive. Life is full of distractions and demands that can easily lead us astray, but a wise soul knows how to navigate these waters with calm and clarity. For example, Marcus Aurelius said, that if you are upset about something outside of you, the pain is not from the thing itself, but from how you think about it, and you have the power to change your mind at any time. As insight tells us, the way we think about being busy often causes us stress and drama that isn't necessary. Once you realize this, you can organize your work and relationships without always putting yourself under pressure. Imagine your daily routine. Instead of rushing through tasks with a sense of urgency, you approach each one with deliberate intention. You set priorities for what really matters, and you focus on meaningful work instead of getting caught up in a whirlwind of unimportant tasks. For example, instead of filling your day with endless meetings and unimportant errands, you make time for deep work that isn't interrupted by anything else. This not only increases your productivity, but also protects your mental health. In a world that often values busyness and constant activity, you value the need for peace and quiet. Think about the times you spend by yourself, maybe reading a book that feeds your soul or going for a walk in nature. These aren't just breaks from work. They're essential practices that renew your spirit and keep your inner harmony. One example of this is how you handle your relationships. Instead of going to every social event or responding to every message right away, you choose to spend your time on deep, meaningful connections. You know that quality is more important than quantity, so by doing this, you avoid the stress that many of your friends and acquaintances seem to feel when they are stuck in a cycle of superficial interactions and constant connectivity. In the end, you realize that being busy and getting things done are not the same thing. By setting priorities and making time for yourself, you live a life with meaning and joy. You don't let the wild currents of modern life sway you. Instead, you steer your ship with wisdom and grace. According to the timeless principles of Stoicism, number 8, learning is important to you. This love of learning isn't based on a realistic need or want, but on a deep-seated curiosity and a desire for personal growth. Stoicism teaches us that wisdom is a key virtue, and you live by this principle by always looking for new skills and information. For example, when you decide to start oil painting, you don't do it to make money or become famous as an artist. You do it for the pure joy of making something beautiful, learning a new technique, and expressing yourself through colors, strokes of paint. This act of learning enriches your soul and brings you closer to understanding the world around you. Or consider the time you decided to learn a new language. You didn't choose to do this because you needed it for a job or because it would look good on your resume. You did it because you have a friend from another country and you wanted to converse with them in their native tongue. You wanted to understand their culture better, to see the world from their perspective, and to deepen your connection with them. This, too, is an act of growth and personal development, reflecting your Stoic appreciation for the interconnectedness of humanity. In both these examples, your love for learning is a reflection of your old soul. You see education as a lifelong journey, not a destination. Every new piece of knowledge, every new skill is a step along this path, helping you to become a wiser, more enlightened person. You understand the true fulfillment comes not from external achievements, but from the internal growth that comes from learning and self-improvement. So embrace your love for learning. In order to live out the Stoic principle that wisdom is the greatest of all virtues and lead to a richer, more meaningful life, you should pick up that new hobby, dive into that difficult subject, or learn a new language. Each new thing you learn adds a new layer to your understanding of the world and yourself. History is more than just a study for you. It's a treasure. Lots of knowledge and skills ready to be learned. Like a Stoic philosopher, unearthed you get power and direction from the stories of those who came before us. You see your life as part of a grand story that goes back through the ages. Think about the ancient Stoic practice of thinking about the past to better understand the present. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote a lot about how important it was to learn from history. He thought that by understanding other people's experiences, we could better navigate our own lives. You can live by this principle by valuing the experiences and teachings of older people. Their lives are rich tapestries of triumphs and trials that can teach you a lot. You might be deeply interested in how people lived before modern technology came along. There is a purity to their ways and a direct connection to the basics of life that speaks to you deeply. Maybe you often think about how your ancestors dealt with their problems and joys and feel a connection with them that goes beyond intellect. Imagine sitting with an elderly relative and listening to their stories about a time when life moved at a different pace. Their stories of strength and resourcefulness can give you courage to face your own problems with a steady mind. You see yourself as a product of this past, carrying on the values and lessons that have been passed down from generation to generation. This point of view affects how you think people should treat older people. You believe in taking care of the elderly, much like the Stoics emphasize the importance of community and mutual support. It perplexes and saddens you to see a lack of regard for those who have walked the path before us. Their wisdom gained through years of experience is a beacon that should guide us, not be disregarded in this modern world where the past is often overshadowed by the constant rush for the new and the next. You stand as a guardian of historical wisdom. You remind us all that the past is not a distant, irrelevant place, but a wellspring of knowledge and a guide for living a meaningful life. Your connection to the past is a testament to your old soul, and it inspires those around you to value history and the elders who embody it. By embracing the past, you live a life enriched by the wisdom of those who came before you, and you offer this timeless perspective to your audience, encouraging them to honor and learn from history in their own journeys. Number 10. The latest fad doesn't impress you. We wonder what's the point of all this in the big picture, while other people are rushing to keep up with the latest trends and fashions. The Stoic way of thinking helps us see past the temporary appeal of material things. Today's gone tomorrow, a term that perfectly describes how short-lived most trends are. Take a moment to think about whether or not a new smartphone with a higher resolution camera will really improve your life if the old one still takes great pictures. Take the tablet computer as an example. If you really see a benefit in having one, like how convenient it is for reading or how much faster it makes your work, then by all means get one. But our decisions shouldn't be based on the need to keep up with others. It was Marcus Aurelius who said, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself." In this way of thinking, you know that things you own should be useful and should also please your own tastes. For your entertainment isn't about trying to impress other people. It's about putting quality over quantity and function over form. In a world where everything is always changing, there's a deep peace in recognizing stability and consistency. You aren't swayed by the temporary. You want substance. You know that the only way to be truly happy is to find happiness in simplicity and purpose, not in always looking for the next big thing. Stoicism tells us to pay attention to what's important. Being happy and at peace with ourselves is more important than having the newest clothes or gadgets. It's about living in harmony with nature and finding joy in the simple things that last. So the next time you see a crowd going crazy over the newest trend, take a step back and ask yourself, do I really need this? Think about whether it will make you happy in the long run or just for a short time. This is the Stoic way, the path of knowledge, and the sign of an old soul. Number 11. Hold on to what you know is right, and let go of what isn't. People who can stay cool and collected during times of trouble are likely to have been around for a long time. Being calm in the middle of chaos is not only a rare quality, but it's also a sign of a lot of experience and wisdom. It may look like you don't care or are emotionally distant, but that's not true. As an old soul, you know that getting angry or stressed out won't change anything or make things better. Instead, you approach problems with a calm mind, which is the essence of Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not over outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This quote perfectly describes how you feel. Imagine that everyone around you is in a panic. It could be a family emergency, a work problem, or a sudden change in plans. While everyone else is rushing to figure out what to do, you stay calm. You become the eye of the storm, a steady presence in the middle of the chaos. Your calmness not only helps you think clearly, but it also gives people around you peace of mind in personal relationships. When disagreements or conflicts happen, your calm demeanor can be a strength. Instead of reacting quickly, you take a step back, listen, understand, and answer with care. This not only helps you solve problems more effectively, but it also makes your relationships stronger. People respect your ability to keep your cool and often come to you for help and advice. Your calmness isn't because you don't care about anything. It comes from having a deep understanding of what's important. You know that most things are temporary and that getting angry just makes things worse. This Stoic-based view helps you handle life's storms with grace and resilience. So if people think you seem cold or emotionless, know that they are seeing the timeless wisdom of an old soul. You are the picture of calm and a living example of how inner peace can transform outer chaos. By living by these principles, you not only improve your own life, but also inspire those around you to find their own strength. Tranquility number 12. You find true value in what lies within you. Understand a basic truth that many people don't. Ignore what really matters is a way of thinking that comes from Stoic philosophy, which says we should find worth in our character and inner virtues instead of in approval from other people. A soul that is old doesn't seek praise or admiration from other people. You shouldn't judge your worth by how many social media fans or likes you have. These fleeting signs of popularity don't affect your sense of self. Imagine the peace of mind that comes from not needing praise from others. Imagine the confidence that comes from knowing your own worth, no matter how many people applaud you. Stoicism teaches us to be at peace with our own judgments and not care about what other people think. Your worth isn't based on a fancy job title or a fancy car. These things may catch the eye, but they don't feed the soul. For example, Marcus Aurelius held his head high despite his great power and status, focusing on his duty and moral integrity instead of seeking public praise. If you want to be truly valuable, you understand that your knowledge, wisdom, and character are the things that can't be bought or sold. In today's world, it's easy to get caught up in the never-ending search for approval from others. This quest could turn into an endless cycle where trends and views are always changing. But as an old soul, you recognize the futility of this chase. You place far more importance on your own life and your own opinion of yourself. You understand that external validation is transient, while self-respect and inner peace are enduring. Consider a tree. Standing tall in a forest, it doesn't seek the approval of the other trees or the admiration of passers-by. It simply grows rooted deeply in the earth, reaching toward the sky. Its value comes from within, from its strength and resilience. Similarly, you grow and thrive from within, grounded in your values and principles by being true to yourself and living by your own standards. You naturally attract people who respect and appreciate you for who you are. These are the relationships that matter, built on mutual respect and genuine admiration. When you live authentically, you don't need to put on a show to impress others. your character speaks for itself. In conclusion, remember that as an old soul, what's inside is what truly counts. If you follow your values and let your character shine through, the right people will see and appreciate the real you, which is worth much more than any superficial praise. As we come to an end of our discussion today, I hope this journey into the peaceful and profound world of old souls has struck a chord with you. If you've ever felt out of sync with the present and more connected to the wisdom of a bygone era, you're not alone. By understanding the traits of an old soul, from their deep-seated calmness to their thoughtful solitude, we gain a timeless perspective that challenges the fast-paced lives we live in today. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Do these traits sound like you? Are you maybe an old soul yourself? Share your thoughts and stories in the section below. Your thoughts not only make our community stronger, but they also help us all understand what it means to have the wisdom of an old soul. If this video inspires you, please give it a thumbs up and share it with friends or anyone else who might find it useful. Also, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos like this. Thank you for watching, and until next time, keep embracing the wisdom of the past as you navigate the present.